It's Friday night in the A, and you know what that means. Kelly Price and Tori McElhaney coming at you on Rise Up Tonight, presented by AT&T.
Oh, we're halfway there. And you know what? I do be living on a prayer right now.
I was not expecting you to sing. I knew it was on the prompter. I didn't think you were going to sing. I just completely disregard what's on the prompter. That was amazing. That was so good.
Well, I provide all the entertainment here.
That's so good.
You know, live entertainment. It's part of what we do. All right. The Falcons' 28 points set a new season high for the team in scoring. Not as entertaining, but it still wasn't enough for the dub. Let's huddle up about it, y'all.
Let's huddle up with Kelly and Tori on the world of Falcons football.
All right, let's start here. The Falcons lost to the Vikings backup to the backup. Josh Dobbs landed in Minnesota 5 days before taking on the Falcons. Barely practiced with them, and he didn't even know some of his teammates' names. And I'm sure y'all have seen the videos of him literally going over cadences with his new center on the sideline before going in the game. He went on to run for 66 yards and a touchdown himself. He became the first player in NFL history to account for 3 scores in consecutive weeks with 2 different teams. How much of this is Dobbs playing just like totally free, bringing some lightning in a bottle a little bit, and how much should Falcons fans be worried after this, especially knowing they're going to see Kyler Murray here?
Yeah, I think my biggest concern has to do with the 67 yards that Josh Dobbs was able to scramble for on Sunday. He turned what could have been sacks into pickups of 13, 18, 22 yards, and that was a huge difference in the game itself. And you know who's really equally, if not more dangerous on their feet? Kyler Murray. It may be his first game back with the Cardinals, but he's going to make you pay if he really takes off. And if the Falcons can't stop him from leaking out, it could be a really long and tiring day.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, this offense really left so much on the table. They'll be the first ones to tell you that as well. Taylor Heinicke gets his first start for Atlanta, but the result was the same as last week when he came in relief of Desmond Ridder. I've got to be honest, I'm not sure if it really matters which quarterback plays. It seems like these same issues continue to handicap this offense, and that's the problem. Tori, moving forward, knowing we've seen 6 quarters from Heinicke that have resulted in 48 Falcons points, how do you kind of assess this offense and how they can improve this week?
Yeah, Kelly, you're right about the conversation about this offense has evolved beyond the quarterback, and that's why I kind of don't really even want to talk about it. Quarterback plays a role in this operation of the offense, of course, yes, absolutely, but let's consider this for a second. Matt Ryan, Marcus Mariota, Desmond Ridder, and Taylor Heinicke have played in this system that has through 3 years struggled to find the end zone at times. This is a conversation that's much bigger than QB talk. It's bigger than Desmond Ridder. It's bigger than Taylor Heinicke. What either of them can do in the meantime is just don't make any glaring mistakes and keep the chains moving as best they can.
That's a really good point. All right, Calais Campbell said Sunday night, this was our worst game of the season. Full stop. I don't think any of his teammates, staff, the fan base, these 2 distinguished ladies here will disagree with that assessment. But the Falcons are 4-5 for the 3rd straight year under Arthur Smith. Smith said himself this week, they're mad, they're upset, but they have a chance to do something about it this Sunday. What issues can they realistically look to fix in just 1 week and keep this thing moving?
Oh my gosh, just get in the end zone, right? Like when you get to the ball on the 1-yard line, just punch it in. I love Young Waiku. But we have to start seeing less of him beyond extra points. The Falcons are 14 of 28 in their red zone trips this year.
Wow.
That's 50%. And Arthur Smith said this week that it's on him to make sure the Falcons are better there. For them to be the team they want to be, they've got to be closer to 60% and above if they can.
Yeah, 5 touchdowns versus 10 field goals in the last 3 games. That's not going to cut it. I'll tell you what doesn't need fixing. The Falcons fits. We are walking in, presented by Wells Fargo. Let's start with Taylor Heinicke, starting for his hometown team for the very first time, no less. You gotta love the dope custom jacket, the Georgia state flag on the sleeve, the state outline little star on ATL, his name in a clean cursive on the sleeve. He's got number 4. Of course, the throwback Falcon logo on the back keeps the rest of the fit plain so the star can truly shine. You love to see it.
Honestly, let's get the Falcons to start selling this part of their merch, because I think this thing would be a hit.
100% agree with that. Next up, follow me on social media. You know I love nothing more than a great meme, and you know I used to pray for times like this when we would have Falcons fits this good. Bijan Robinson with a sweater here. We are absolutely loving it.
Oh, Kobe, iconic. This is the type of sweater that needs no introduction. It's a statement in and of its own right. I think the coolest, I'll say this, I think it may be one of the coolest singular pieces that we've featured on the show today.
I agree. And for the grand finale, Kaderil Hodge hitting us with his best black tie attire. It was glorious, so glorious. The heavens are literally shining down on our guy. He had a whole photo shoot in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium parking lot and entrance, hitting us with the little shy look down smile. He knows what he's doing, getting content for the gram. Respect.
This man doesn't miss on these fits, and I swear Kaylee and I could show you his fits every single week if you didn't think that, or if we didn't think that you needed to see other people. He's King Cadero for a reason.
Yeah.
The fits are just always too good.
Absolutely. All right, let's take a break from football for another moment, shall we? Tonight we are asking the Dirty Birds who their ideal golf foursome would be in our question of the week.
Who is your dream golf foursome? Doesn't have to be football, but can be.
That's tough. That's very tough.
Oh, jeez.
Tiger for sure.
Give me Tiger.
Come on now. You know I'm going with Tiger. That's too easy. I need all the tricks and trade.
Give me Michael Jordan.
John Daly to see if I can out-trick him.
You got you and Tiger. So who are the other two?
His son.
His son? Okay,
Yeah.
Charlie?
Yeah.
And give me, let's go with DeChambeau. Let's go with Bryson. Just get some
Ooh,
strength in there.
I like it.
Tiger son. His son. I want the whole family.
I do wish we heard Kyle Pitts' answer. I know he's a big golfer as well.
Yes. I honestly, no one will want me on their team. Golf is not my thing. I can do a lot of things well. Golf is not it.
Something we can do well is obviously the show, and we've got a great interview to come, still to come. Don't miss some incredible insight from this week's guest, Falcons legend Terrence Mathis, who tells us his honest thoughts on the 2023 Dirty Birds and the one thing this offense needs to fix ASAP.
Plus, this past Sunday was the Falcons' call to service game. More on what the team did to highlight and thank our servicemen and women coming up next on Rise Up Tonight.
Rise Up Tonight is presented by AT&T and brought to you by the Georgia Lottery. Today could be the day. The Home Depot, how doers get more done. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing. And Truist, when you start with care, you get a different kind of bang. It's time to Rise Up Atlanta. Kelly and Tori are back on your home for Falcons football. Fox 5 Atlanta.
The Falcons traditionally do a salute to service game every season, but on Sunday they did something a little bit different. As we rise up for Atlanta, brought to you by Truist. Sunday's call to service game featured a very special halftime performance. Chief of the Staff of the Army, General Randy George, gave the oath of enlistment to more than 600 service members. The Falcons wanted to highlight what the military has to offer for those who might be interested in joining. Lieutenant Colonel Chip Cox is the Atlanta Recruiting Battalion commander, and he hopes fans took something positive away from the experience.
Traditionally, the Falcons had done a salute to service game in which they had highlighted, the service by veterans and their families over the years. This was a time to really focus on young men and women who were answering the call to service. I really just hope it encourages everyone to think that they have the opportunity to serve. And then it just opens their eyes that, it's not just a particular subset of society. It's, everyone. There's multiple different opportunities and ways to serve.
Meanwhile, on the football field, you talked about on your notebook on AtlantaFalcons.com that the Falcons just need to get back to basics after this loss. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, so this was actually something that Calais Campbell talked a little bit about in the locker room after the game. He was talking about it in the context of tackling. There were too many missed tackles last Sunday, and tackling is a basic of the game. It's something 7-year-olds learn on Saturday mornings. But then there's the idea of trying to do too much offensively when sometimes all you need to do is line up good versus good and go at it. I think about the series from the 1-yard line as an example. Look, I know this is a strategic game, but I would argue that sometimes simplicity is a strategy, and that's kind of what I was getting at with this whole let's go back to the basics conversation.
We shall see if they can do it against the 1-8 Cardinals. And you know who's got more wins than the Cardinals? Well, a lot of folks, but Tori and I definitely do when it comes to our hot take winning percentages. More where that is coming from later on in the show.
Plus, a fascinating conversation with Falcons legend Terrence Mathis about his days with the Dirty Birds and the state of the squad. That's coming up next on Rise Up Tonight.
It's almost game time, Falcons fans. When the Falcons sack the opposing QB at home, you'll score a BOGO free Big Zack snack meal the day after the game. Valid online only at Atlanta area stores. Welcome back to Rise Up Tonight. Let's head in the nest with Kelly, Tori, and this week's special guest, brought to you by Mercedes-Benz.
Really excited to have in the nest with us this week Terrence Mathis, obviously wide receiver for the Falcons from 94 to 2001. I have a whole list of a bunch of your accolades here, right? Second team All-Pro, Pro Bowler 1994, consensus All-American in college, now a college football Hall of Famer. Congrats on that.
Thank you.
You led the Falcons in catches in the Super Bowl, Man of the Year 1998. Of all of those things, what is the line on your resume that you're kind of the most proud of?
The last one you mentioned, Man of the Year. My wife and I, we did a lot that year in the community. We didn't really look for, it wasn't about look at me, see what I'm doing whatsoever. It was about just something that was instilled in me from my mom. And you know, she always told me, she says, when you make it, make sure you give back and reach back. And that's what I did. And I think that was most important to me, and still do it today. Not like I did it back in, of course, when I was playing, but I still, try to be out in the community and do community service as much as I can and help others. Second to that was catching a touchdown in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Because, when you were little, you play in a park and you always dream about catching a touchdown or playing in the Super Bowl, and you're going, and all the fanfare whatsoever. And that was my dream ever since I was 9 years old. And then get a chance to play in the Super Bowl, and not only play, but score a touchdown in the Super Bowl. I mean, it was like dreams come true. The only thing that would have capped it off was a win and holding up the Lombardi Trophy.
What did it mean to you to play in Atlanta at the time that you played there, and the teams that you were a part of?
It was funny because when I was with the Jets, I played in the first game that was at the Georgia Dome against the Falcons. And then when I became a free agent, I traveled all over the place whatsoever, this and that. Then I get a phone call from the Falcons, and I said, you don't have to say anymore. I said, you offer me a contract, I'm there. I get to come home and play in front of friends and family, I am there.
I want to talk about this organization, this franchise, how they still embrace, you and so many of their Falcons legends. I feel like they do such a good job of still incorporating you guys, bringing you around the team and celebrating the 98 team coming up. Talk about what that means to still be so involved with this organization and how they really embrace former Falcons.
They ask us to come out, do things, and be part of the experience of this Atlanta Falcon organization. Go out to training camp, be a part of training camp whatsoever. And it's fascinating for me, and it's important for me because, and those who were on that 1998 team, which was a special unit at the time, which still holds the franchise record for wins. I just had to put that in there. And for the young guys to get to see us, and they walk around the building, they can see pictures and names and whatsoever. Now they get to see us and have a chance to, embrace us and ask questions. I think that's really, really important.
There's a lot of celebration happening around the Falcons organization with you guys because it's 25-year anniversary. For you, as you look back on that team specifically, what stands out to you about that team, and why was that team so special?
The amount of games we played and some of the big games we played in, you remember them, but you can't remember them all. But what you remember is the moments you had with your teammates. When guys get together and they bring up those things, you go, that's right, that did happen. And we rarely talk about a play or a game. We talk about a situation in the game. Like OJ out there wanting to fight everybody, and he's 6'6" and I'm 5'10", and I'm looking up at him and said, pulling his face mask, come on, man, play. And look, and you see when you see pictures and you go, God, dog, I was tiny, these giants. And it's those things we talk about more when we get together. It's not about, well, yeah, we did beat the 49ers twice, or we did go to Minnesota and beat Minnesota. Yeah. When we talk about that game, we talk about the atmosphere, we talk about the emotions of it before the game, more than we talk about the game.
Can't think about that team and not think about the Dirty Bird. You know, obviously the revolution behind all of that. I want to hear your perspective on kind of the oral history of how that all happened, and when you look back, the memories you have with that.
We went up to New England in '98 with the team we weren't supposed to beat. O.J. Santiago had a great game that game. He caught a touchdown pass, and he put his arms up and started flapping them and got low, and we're like, what? OJ showing some, some excitement? So then we get in the locker room, and he comes in the locker room and says, how about those Dirty Birds? And we was like, Dirty Birds? Yeah, them Dirty Birds. Yeah, how about them Dirty Birds? And so the next time we played, Jamal scored, and that's the first time Jamal did it, it was ugly. I guess he practiced every day for the whole week for the next time he scored the way he was going to do it, because he showed us in practice every day, this is how I'm going to do it when I'm scored. This is how I'm going to do it when I score. This is how I'm going to do it when I score. So he took it to a different level. He took it to a whole different stage. And, we all had our Morris Day and the Time, Dirty Bird, we all did something, because it was about the Falcons at the time. And that, when that came out, it caught fire across the nation.
When you watch this offense, the dysfunction we've kind of been seeing, can you place a lot of that on the quarterback's shoulders, or are there a lot of other guys that need to take a look in the mirror here?
You can't place it all on the quarterback, not at all, because you're going to give up sacks, you're going to throw interceptions, you're going to fumble the ball, you're going to drop balls, you're going to get covered. That stuff happens. But what should never happen is a quarterback that cannot thrive in a scheme that's meant for him. If we are a running football team, which we started that identity last year, let's be that. You brought a running scheme, play action scheme, bootleg scheme to the Atlanta Falcons. You didn't bring a wide open, let's throw the ball 30, 40 times a game scheme. So you're learning how to do that on the fly, which is unfair to everybody on that offensive side of the ball.
We need to do like football one-on-one with you. I know. Talk about it.
I need to do a class. I need to do a football one-on-one class.
I would take the class.
Y'all get it. Y'all, if you guys set it up, I'm there.
Okay.
All right.
I would take the class.
Thank you so much.
All right. Appreciate it so much. Anyone who wants to catch the full conversation, head to fox5atlanta.com. We'll post much more of it on there, and we'll be right back on Rise Up Tonight.
Hey Atlanta, this is Head Crack talking, and you watching Rise Up Tonight, presented by AT&T.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Bijan Robinson, number 7. Go get it, football.
Like father, like son. Liam Smith dialing up Bijan Robinson from the call sheet. I love the way he says Bijan too. He's got the vest, the mustache down. Most importantly, he's here for our Bijan Robinson narratives. And hey, while it wasn't a ginormous game statistically for Bijan this last week, he had 51 yards on 11 carries, 714 yards from scrimmage. Now he becomes the second fastest player to reach that mark in team history, as I was predicting last Friday night, Tori.
But here's the thing, do I still miss Bijan Robinson?
Yes,
I do. I still miss him.
I think a lot of people agree with that statement. All right, I'm feeling extra spicy tonight, Tori. Just like a lot of you guys out there during this losing streak, my hot take tonight, 10 Falcons will be targeted through the air on Sunday. It's been 9 the last 2 weeks, 8 the week before that. Let's see Taylor Heineke sling it, and let's see this stable of playmakers make plays.
And let's stay on this same topic of conversation. I think the Falcons need a big day from Kyle Pitts. Since Pitts joined the league in 2021, he has had 6 games with 80-plus receiving yards. When he surpasses that 80-yard mark, the Falcons have won those 6 games, in fact. More than anything, though, the Falcons have yet to lose a game when Pitts goes over 80 receiving yards. So KP gets 81 yards Sunday, please?
This KP would like to see that as well. All right, finally, before we say goodnight, we want to take a moment to say goodbye to Arthur Smith's mustache.
Lifestyle change is not for everybody. Are you going to keep it for the season? See how it goes.
Very impressed with his mustache.
I get him a little mini comb for his new mustache.
I think it looks good. Jealous of it a little bit.
People view you different when you walk in there and you're rocking a stash. I'm going to probably grow it back because I already miss it.